Good morning, beautiful people. Yes, indeed. Guess where you are? You're tuned into Coffee Break with Senabella. Only thing is, I'm Asada. Anyway, I'm here to back up my home girl, Senabella, who, it's a wonderful stormy day here in Chicago, and that can mean a lot of different things. But fortunately, when you're in the female solution, you got people to get you back. So we're just going to keep it flowing with a great guest today. But before we start, we are going to pay homage to the force that brings us here, and that is the female solution. Yes, indeed. What is it? Take a look and find out.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the female solution.
You have it, the female solution. All the issues of the world, guess what? They usually get solved by the female solution. Those of us sisters that are out there doing the work. And so I want to say thank you for tuning in. Again, you're here with Coffee Break with Senabella, and she'll be with us shortly. But in the meantime, one monkey don't stop no show. We're going to keep this rolling. We have a great guest today who is so funny. I know this sister from the community in so many different ways. But today when I saw her, I was like, oh, I know her. This is none other than a sister by the name of Nicole Wheatley. How are you, beautiful?
I am doing wonderful, Asada. How are you on this amazing, beautiful, windy morning?
Windy, stormy. It's like a whole lot of things out there. When I woke up, it was like so many lightning bolts, and it's totally fine. But I'm glad we could be here today, regardless. That's right, regardless. So I want to thank you for coming on. I'm so happy to know that we know mutual people, that we are a mutual friend of Senabella. Yes. And I guess because it's me and not Senabella, I was like, okay, where did I exactly meet Nicole from? I'm like,
it's been so many places that we've met at, but honestly, I think it was the shoe store. I think that I met you with Linda Johnson. I think our first introduction was through Linda Johnson.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know a lot of my people. I think obviously your people too. So I do love it. It says a lot about who you are, because I love my circles, and I think it just says a lot about the sort of the synchronicity of people who think like each other and do like each other. But you do big things, and we're going to get into that today for sure. So without further ado, tell people a little bit. It says that you're a community development consultant. Why don't you talk a little bit about that? What does that mean?
I have the privilege of doing work that I absolutely love. And so I feel very blessed. When I was growing up on 78th and Sealy with our family, some of the things that I noticed when I came back from college was that we had a whole bunch of stores that were closed down. We couldn't walk up to the corner anymore. Even McDonald's had moved, right? All of these things that was right in my neighborhood, where we could go to the grocery store at the corner. We could go to a candy store. We could go to, whatever we needed to get to, right? There's different shopping areas, and we could shop a lot on 63rd and Husted. All of that stuff was gone. And I was like, what happened here? Like, I've only been gone for a few years, and I came back to a lot of boarded up buildings. Well, that was an issue for me. I was like, wow, something about this got to be changed. And how do we get these stores back into reoccupancy status? How do we get these homes that's getting boarded up a person back into them, right? And so Father Michael Flager opened up the door for me when I came back and got my master's in urban public policy planning and development, for me to work with Carlos Nelson. It was just him and me at the Greater Auburn Gresham Development Corporation. Mm-hmm. And that was my first job back into the community. But growing up, right, I was a Girl Scout member. I was a 4-H club member. So we was part of the Joy Seekers 4-H club, where we went out to learn about so many different things. And I explored things like, 9 years old, we were going skiing. We were going camping. We were connecting to the earth. We were learning about, building ceramic walls and all kind of things, right? So I believe it was embedded in me even as a child. But when I came back and saw a problem, I like to implement solutions. I don't want to get in a circle and keep talking about what's wrong and why it's wrong and not be a part of changing that situation, which is no different than how I open up the shoe store too. I'm walking along Cottage Grove like, why is there no businesses here? This doesn't make sense. And so the part of my community development consulting piece has been a part of who I am from a child, right? Wanting to recreate things, make them better, be able to look where there's a problem, create a solution. But when you see our neighborhoods torn down the way they are, it takes way more than just a person like myself, but it takes a collaboration of individuals to come together collectively under one accord to build some solutions to the situations. And so that's what I do. I go within different neighborhoods and we build a reoccupancy project for vacant houses because, as you know, those vacant homes create a lot of vandalism, issues, problems on the community. People are able to break in, live there, squatters, just so much how it tears down a block, right? But also it's unattractive to see you going down a block and there's board ups everywhere, right? So we want to take an opportunity to figure out a solution to getting someone back into that home. And way too often, these statistics for especially African American or just minorities overall just don't even get nowhere near the numbers of Caucasian families that own a home, right? Mm-hmm. We have to look at those things, look at every single barrier that is existing to prevent people from home ownership. And then equally, while we're looking at that, we got to look at the corridors of where those homes are. People should be able to live, work, shop, and dine in their own neighborhood. They shouldn't have to go and put all their tax dollars somewhere else. So I work to build comprehensive planning processes to make neighborhoods better. And I've been doing that for a very long time. That was why I built the shoe store, right? I wanted to solve a problem on Cottage Grove Street. I love shoes. Do not get me wrong. I am infatuated with shoes. But it was between two things because I love shoes and I love cars. I was either going to open up a women car wash where people came and got not a little short shorts either. I'm talking about women or the shoe store to help build up this corridor, thinking about things that I had to keep driving out to get access when I wanted to be able to have those things. Mm-hmm. And so this work is amazing. About 7.5 years ago, we started to, also incorporate real estate development into it and helping people regardless of their income to get into a house. It takes work, but it's work worth doing.
Girl, you could tell you loved because some people coming on like crazy. They're like, and answering some of our questions. Our girl Manetti said, look, hey Queens.
Hey girl. I don't know if she was on when I told her that we met from her.
I think she might have been because she said that. And then she said through GAGDC, which is the Greater Auburn Gresham Development Corporation.
Yeah.
And so her saying that means, yep, she was definitely listening. And then the other person that I said that I thought we were connected through was my girl, Janine Ingram.
Yes, like, absolutely. Absolutely.
And
for sure.
Definitely Janine. We also got Catherine Welch talking about good morning, right? And then we have beautiful blistery Fridays, ladies, Sandy Hogarth. So I'm not sure if you know some of these ladies that are coming on.
All of them. All of them. My posse's on Broadway.
Posse's on Broadway. So definitely love that. They coming on strong. Again, me coming on. So I do love it. They said, who is this? A goddess.
Yeah.
Hey, talking about hey. And then Lawana Trailer. Good morning, Queen.
Hey, Lawana.
Your people are rocking. And it says, rising the cold side of hey, enjoying the show from Indianapolis with friends. Woo! Thank you, Higher Learning. That's Zelda all day. And what did she say? You need to be on board of the city of Chicago. You're already doing the work, talking about that car. That car wash out there is kind of cold. I got to tell you, that's people would come just for that, no doubt about it. And so we have a ton of things to wrap with you about today. And I'm going to sort of bring up some images that you're going to see, and then you're going to sort of expound on it because we got a whole lot of goodness that is up here that my girl Senabella basically put up here to reflect you and all that you do. So I'm going to show you a little something. And this is just, I think, again, your card real estate development. You guys, if you don't see it at the bottom of the page, there is a website. It says stepsincconsulting.org. And so you can visit that website to see more about Nicole and the things that she does. And people would contact you, like if they have what kind of concern, why would they go to your website to try to find you?
So if people are interested like in purchasing real estate or selling real estate, they would definitely want to come to us. If they want to learn just the steps of how do I get into home ownership, where are their access to capital, where are their grants, where are their, information, and also for small business development too. So we help to provide resources to small business owners. A lot of times people just don't know where to go, right? Where do I go and get information? How do I apply for this grant? What do we do? So we try to layer all kind of information to help people know where to go and how to do the work that's necessary for them to ensure that they are going to be able to be successful.
Okay, good. Because we definitely want people to know, who you got in the building, what you got. Yeah. What kind of what do you have access to? So I think a lot of times in the community, sometimes we don't make moves because we don't know where to go.
It's
people
true.
Literally say, I don't know where to go. I used to have people ask me during the pandemic, you didn't get some of that money? I was like, I didn't know where to go to get nobody.
Right.
So
and I was researching. Look how
exactly. That's
and,
right.
one thing that I can say that is so important to me is that I'm not a selfish leader. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also a person who knows how to also be a servant leader. Right. So It's not always leading. You got to always serve. But at the same time, you serve people by helping them understand that knowledge is power. Right.
Yes.
And even on Monday, we have a meeting with our team just so that we can go over every resource that we can find. Because, I'll get a lot of phone calls. It'd be a lot to handle sometime where I'm trying to make sure I get out to everyone. So I'm trying to do a little bit more strategic where we have these meetings and get content out so that people can get the work done. But here's the thing, right? People must do the work, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You will see the fruits of your labor when you put in work and don't just request, oh, well, do it for me or help me fill this out. It's like, no, You got to do the work and getting it done. I want to just give you a quick example. You may know Sherry Spellers from a more.
Of course.
Sherry, I will tell you, one day I came to her shop and we were talking. I told her about a resource. Sherry did everything I said to the letter of the law. Like, Sherry, apply for this, get this in, do this. If she had a question, she took her time to call me with multiple questions at one time. She really put in the work. Nice. That girl got a major grant. She redid her entire facility. She made major moves in the work that she's doing. My husband even sent me a grant, like, man, I think this will work for Sherry. Sherry ended up getting that grant with Beyonce, right? And
I love it.
And so now she's a affiliate for her products and services. So when we get access to capital or grants, whatever it is that's a resource, we're telling people about it so that all they have to do is now put some skin in the game and get to work on the documents. The biggest thing is shifting our mind to know that it's possible for us to obtain those things, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm so happy that you are there for that, because even myself, sometimes people are asking me, did you go for this? Did you go for this grant? And I almost like I need a person to funnel that information to me so that I can act on it. I'm a little better in the area, but you are a very valuable person in that, right? Now, I think Senabella might be ready to come back on. I think we might need to test and see what the waters are like.
What happens?
Let's see if the diva's coming on. Let me see.
Yeah. And I met Senabella at my shoe store.
You did. See, it's doing a little something. So I'm gonna bring her out for a minute and wait till she comes back out. But I want to put up this image and look at some of what got put up here. Now, this says, let me just take your name down for a minute. This says, using my energy towards positive outcomes. So that is clearly what you have just said and displayed. Anybody can hear that that's what you're applying what you learn to our community. And I'm so happy because you don't have to be here. You don't have to be in the community doing these things. You could literally be taking your energy somewhere else. So I'm happy that you are here. And then we see here, I am inventive and resilient. What say you about that? What say you about that?
I think that it's my natural personality to recreate myself and reinvent myself. Right? What worked for me 10, 15, 20 years ago is not the same that's working for me today. There's been a lot of stretching in this new world, right? Where there's so many infinite possibilities for people to go out and catalabango, possess a piece of these opportunities that exist. But it does take a lot of stretching. You can't do that with the same set of lenses. So I believe unequivocally that I work to recreate myself so that I can constantly stay on top of things like, okay, what's the new things that are out? I will stretch myself with technology as well, right? So I can try to figure out different ways that I can get to where I need to get faster. Like as an example, I used to think Chat GPT is the enemy. I am not about to get on that. Well, that thing actually made my life and my business a lot easier to be able to function through those things, right? And I'll never forget, even with Linda working over there with GADC and Carlos, they were actually my first contract that I had received in Starting Steps in Consulting.
Okay.
And I had built a new quality of life planning process for them back in 2001, 2002, when I worked with Carlos. And they brought me back on and I built that other one. I was shaking in my boots, right? As my own business owner, now building my own plans versus working under the umbrella of another organization, right? So that was not a comfortable space to be in. But I will never forget the day I was sitting at my house and I was watching the movie with Will Smith, where he was, what's his name? James Gardner, I think it was. What's his name? Gardner, where the Pursuit of Happiness. Yes, that's it. I was watching that movie and I was profusely crying. I was like, what am I doing? I know that I could do this. I could move this business. I could create it. I could start. And that was the point. So I went right back to where I got good relationships, got a contract. And because I worked in that contract well, another person saw me and I ended up getting another much larger contract with the City of Chicago Department of Housing. So I believe that not only should we do our work, but we should do it at its highest and best. We have to remember that our name is on that work. It's like signature service, right? And so people will remember you by the work that you did, whether you chose to come in and do very little just to get by, or you chose to give it every piece of your heart and make sure that it prospered and that you changed the dynamics of whatever it was that you were doing so a greater outcome would exist, right? And so I believe that if we do that kind of work, that our labor will not go void. We will be able to triumph from putting in that work and putting in that time. So it's exciting.
Man, that's so inspirational because, like you said, you could come and do the work just by the seat of your pants and just to make it, or you could really put your all in it. Look, you even got my girl here. Manetti said, look, loved Central Steps.
We had a good time there, man. We did. It was amazing.
That's
But guess what? Right now, I'll be opening up we actually been there for 4 years now. We bought an office space. It's going to be a place where people can come on the first floor with our nonprofit for a lot of healing. We got so many amazing products and services that we're going to be having there to be able to help families. And upstairs, we'll have our whole real estate wealth creation. That's going to be launching this year. I'm super excited about it. And yes, we did obtain a grant to help us with the cost of that. Even though we're working for more because it's a big project, but it is a wonderful thing that we're going to do. So make sure that I invite everybody back out. They'll have that same Central Steps feeling when they walk in the door.
Nice. Where's it going to be?
It's at 4517 South State Street.
Okay, State Street. State Street. Let me tell you, I love running up and down State Street because I see so much opportunity.
It is.
It's like so much land, and I'm like, what can we create?
Exactly.
On this strip, and it's so powerful. So I love it. So we still got Janine hooked in, and people are giving feedback now. Look, Manetti said Nicole is a believer.
Yes.
Yeah. And we need that because a lot of times when you're out here, it's not necessarily friends and family that support you, right? And that's no shade to friends and family. It's just to say they know you as the person that used to be little Nicole. I know you since he was little, right? And so your abilities as an adult don't necessarily translate to them believing you could do it because they remember you from when you came. But it's like your momentum has to stay what it is, regardless of the support you don't get from the people maybe you thought you were going to get support from. And so I do champion you and say thank you for making a choice to just shine your light so that people are still supported and inspired by you. So now I'm going to bring on a few more items of images. My family, my community.
My
So
husband,
tell me
my
about
son,
this
Pastor
lovely
Chris
picture.
Harris.
What's up with this picture?
Man, those two guys in the front, they the love of my life right there. Them two guys. And then Pastor Chris Harris, that's my main man right there in the background who was been doing through thick and thin. So, family is very important. I'm super just excited. My husband, he and his business partner, they created a business card, right? A digital business card that I love so much. I'm so proud of them for, stepping out of the box and creating something that was a necessary tool for businesses to prosper. They created this Black digital card. It's just $50 for all founders. Never have to pay a subscription fee. All you do is tap a person's phone, exchange information, connect and build, right? When you get those old stack of business cards and people did nothing with them, eventually throwing them out, while all of it go in your back office, you can connect it to your newsletter. You can do all these things for $50, one-time fee only. And it's called the Brand Breakers card. So I've been making sure that I work and support my husband and his dream with elevating that. And it is really starting to take off now. People see the power of it. It's a unique Black card that unfolds and you just tap and go and connect in 2.5 seconds.
How do we find that? Is that something that we download?
You know what? I'm going to show you the website. I think it's brandbreakerscard.com. I think that's the website. One of the ladies that I work with on the call, they'll throw it in somewhere for us.
Okay, no problem. If you want put me in the chat what the website is, I'll make sure I'll put it up. I think Senabella is close to ready now, so I'm gonna be bringing her in a minute. But I definitely want to put up that business because that sounds like something I love. Now, somebody said they love the energy. Is that Recia Taylor? You know Recia?
Yes, I do. Alicia, hi. Thank you.
Perfect. No doubt about it. And so, I really want to get that, what that business is. So, because
I just put it in the chat for you real quick.
Okay, great. I'm going to grab that. And so you guys, when I put this up, this is something that we can go and get. You said a digital business card, right?
Yes, it's only $50. A lot of the ladies that's on here with me, they've gotten one already. And so all you do is just tap and go. So very quick, tap to the phone, and then you connect and exchange information. And then each person has a back office where they could take that information, they could email, text the people right on site because now they're in their contacts. You have a back office where you could cut, copy, and paste it or download to a CSV file, upload it to your website, because we lose relationships and relationships are powerful and impactful. So you want to gain these relationships and also keep building your database. So this does all of that. Like $50.
I see that at the bottom now.
It's the best gift in the world for a small business owner. Okay?
I love that. Brandbreakerscard.com. That's right at the bottom, scrolling at the bottom. Make sure you get that, guys, because who doesn't need that? Like, I am one of those people with all the business cards all stacked up in a little box. One day we say we're going to organize them, but we're not doing that. Look, somebody said.
One thing I got to tell you too before, because the picture also had my son on it, and I just can't not acknowledge that little genius. I'm so grateful to God that I never thought I was going to have children, and then that was in God's plan for that to happen. But I'm just so proud of this little guy. I have had a lot of women in my life that has been, just champions around me. You got Minister Ingram, always showed me a lot of different values, things that read to your son while he's in your belly, do this, do that, play the little, the music, classical music, all these different things that she would, impart into me as a mom that was very helpful over time. You had Minetti, who helped me get the right trainer, one of their family members, Quadro, to get my son on board. And I'm just super excited because he was technically in 7th grade. They didn't want to hold him back. They moved him up to 8th grade. He tested at over 85% in the whole state of Illinois. And we decided to take the seat at St. Ignatius, but he was offered to be into every school. That is not just me and my husband's doing. It was a village that was around us that was supporting us. And yes, babe, I read your book, Don't Beat Black Children. I have that book because, baby, I wanted to get at him quite many times. Okay. Linda, I believe, Janine told me about the book. Yeah. It was at an event, and I got your book, right? And I mean, it was you talked about sparing the rod and what that actually meant in the Bible and how it was misinterpreted. So people thinking that a rod, you grab it, you beat a child, right, to make them do what it is that they're saying. But a rod was actually used to guide, right? Those things were nuggets. I will never forget them in reading the book because I wanted to find another way. So, my husband come from old school. I'm about to tear that butt up. Right. Tear the boy's butt. Okay, please. Can we find another way to fix this thing here? And so, but I was raised that way as well, right? My family did the same thing growing up. Like I was, my dad did not play. I was going to get the extension cord,
I know.
So I was like, let me try to find another way to work with him. And so it was other things like, okay, you have to spend some time reading. You got to do this. You got to do that. Opposed to, getting that whip out.
Hey, yeah, please. No doubt about it. We could do a better job. And I'm so happy. I love hearing that it made that type of interception between a person doing something they just, what they call being mediocre and to just do it versus giving some thought to your actual parenting process and then coming out with a gem. You could come out with a gem. You ain't got to be all, doing the status quo. And I do love that. I also I think my girl Senabella is here. So Senabella, I'm coming, baby. I hope you're ready. Let me see if she's ready.
Come on, girl.
Let's see if she's ready.
Have to sing a little something for us this morning now.
Oh, yeah. Look, so she's you there, Senabella?
Look, I'm here, but I'm like, she said, sing something. I'm like, I'm trying to sing to this internet.
Okay.
Am I pixelated because I can't?
Yes.
Well, hold on. I got another place to bring you in from. Hold on one second.
Okay, good. There we are.
Okay, turn off one of them devices. I don't know, Mama. It's echoing. So
okay.
The weather has probably created some additional situations with this wonderful technology that we got.
Yeah, but what we're gonna do, we are gonna take a minute to go to commercial break, and when we come back, we'll have our Senabella with us.
That sounds real good. I'm gonna be with you all.
So I'll be back. Let's take a look.
Right.
I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're 3 Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also 3 sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all. Race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're 3 Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, 3 Black Moms.
And if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
Period. With a T. Period. Wow.
I love that Three Sisters commercial.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Always love that.
So, Senabella, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you, if you want to take
just stay
reign.
right there.
What? Stay right here, girl.
Stay right here.
Well,
I just want to say thanks so much for, always having your quarterbacking everybody. And I really value that and appreciate it. It shows true teamwork and sisterhood. Sada calls me before I call her to tell her I'm getting ready to go in the studio. She's just that kind of person. You always need somebody who's like right at the tip of everything. And so
absolutely,
that person, and I appreciate you. And Nicole, you look marvelous. It's great seeing you.
Thank you, darling. I appreciate you so much.
Yeah, I got a chance to hear a little bit of what was going on. I'm jealous. I want to hear more. And everything kept going in and out, but I was really excited to hear that everything was moving along so well. I really took a lot of time to choose those pictures and those pieces and saying to myself, what does that, what could this mean to her? And so it was great hearing you to describe some of those things and help us to kind of get a more intimate look at you, which is really what Coffee Break with Senabella is about. Getting that intimate look, not just about the business, but what is it that makes this person so formidable that they're seen everywhere they're going, no matter what they say or do, right?
Yes.
And for me, I've been watching you for a very, very long time, Nicole. And of course, we've seen each other, we know each other, but those things are just not as strong as when we have this opportunity right now to really just discuss who you are and what you mean to this community and what you mean to people that are at random with you,
Yes.
As you said, relationships are important.
Yes.
Yeah. This was something that I really said, hey, look at her. She's like sitting right in the front row. And gaining knowledge, it does make you stronger. Have you talked about this yet? Did I miss it, or is this?
No, we didn't talk about that. So I'm on the Illinois College of Optometry board as a public trustee. And so it is really a truly amazing opportunity to be able to sit amongst a lot of the doctors and community individuals that are working to help in the optometry field. Is something I'm pretty passionate about. I've been working with them. I was as an associate, community advisor for over 10 years. And I actually became an official board member last year. And so it's we're working to find different solutions. For me, I have an opportunity coming up on either May 6th or May 7th. I'm going to be bringing a couple of African-American schools to the college, right? So that children can get a seed sown into their life about the field of optometry, right? Maybe an idea that can lead them into going into this field. A lot of people don't know they make very good money. People come out of school, making a couple $100,000. And so I believe a big part of why I'm there is to make sure that community is staying connected to all of the benefits that work with this organization, especially for eye care. A lot of people don't know that the eye care center is available, that they, service people regardless of the income, just so many different things, right? But also now I have the opportunity to help gain exposure to African-American students so that they can learn about this field. So it's really a win-win situation for me to be connected in that community, to work with them, and also now to help people. There's like a shortage of optometrists. They really need more because people are impacted with a lot of eye issues because of the devices. Let's just keep it real. It's a blessing, but also it's got some issues with it. And so we're able to work with a lot of those different people, help them understand about this field, and to create great change and encourage other people to, come into this field. It's incredible to be able to be a doctor in optometry, but a lot of people are not aware of it. And so I have the voice of being able to bring that to the surface. So I'm super excited about that opportunity.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really amazing. One of the things that I really tap into these days is I've become much more aware of myself and my life purpose and journey, is that there are many things that we'll be exposed to, but it doesn't mean that we'll always understand how that exposure can be helpful to someone else. So at that moment that's the important time when you're at the tip of that moment where you make a decision and say, I'm going to stay with this and discover what it is that I can do to help someone else, even if it's not for me. And optometry is important, but people are suffering in so many different health issues these days. And so we don't realize that it's through every organ that we have that if something is happening that can cause you to be ill and you're unaware of it, and it can affect something else, so that you're dealing with from ophthalmology. I think that's just amazing.
Yeah. It's so amazing that you just said that. One of the books that really changed the dynamics of my entire life is actually the book that Minister Ingram exposed me to, which is The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity. But right now, I thought I had read every book by Catherine Ponder, but recently I ordered the book, The Dynamics of Healing. And just starting on, I'm only on chapter 2 right now, but already it's saying exactly what you just said, that every emotion is held in the cells, and they actually create the disease or dis-ease that's within our bodies. And it's so imperative that we create a new narrative in our minds so that we can have a different outcome in the situations that we desire, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, right? So we gravitate to these different emotions and feelings that we have that sometimes are not the best ones. And then we allow them to repeat over and over again in our mind. And now the body is feeling the emotion of what it is that we consistently reciting ourselves. So imagine if we reverse the curse of those things, right? And switch it to something more powerful. Last night, I went through laying down, going to sleep, saying, I fully and freely forgive and release whatever name or whatever situation that came up in my thought process while we're working. Because sometimes you're in the middle of doing major work in the community and you could get battle fatigue, right? It can come upon you if you're not consistently allowing yourself to sow into yourself and take that rest and to take those breaks, and also to meditate, to pray, to do these things going to keep you at your highest and best. And so being in that work of creating situations, changing things to make them better, you have to go to self-healing. And self-healing is definitely us speaking over our body, speaking to ourselves, being that cheerleader that's consistently saying, you got this thing. You're gonna excel in this. You are success. Reminding yourself to affirm, I'm healthy, happy, whole, perfect, wealthy, and complete. Because sometimes it gets so busy in the workday that we forget to take this time to reconnect and regroup. And when I feel myself, falling down like I'm exhausted, it is because I did not do my mental and spiritual work. And one of the things Mr. Ingram and I have been talking about lately is that, that book, The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity, and, all the other books that I've read have really helped to elevate my life, even yours, right? Don't beat my child, okay? But all of these different things help to shape who I am today, to build into the person that I continually evolve into. But one of the things that I've recognized is that I used to just keep like Minister Ingram said, I keep striking the rock, right? When I got to speak to it now. So even now I'm being called for a higher level in my life where new doors are opening and I can't do what I did in the past. I have to do something different, right? And then learning what that is and why it's important for me to move forward mentally and spiritually in that direction. Because when you have a great purpose and you have to deal with a lot of different people, must keep yourself spiritually grounded. You have to, or else you will get burnt out. Well, you will get frustrated. You'll take some things that you built and it could actually even be destroyed because you've allowed yourself to be depleted. And I'm so happy that I was getting there, because it was like, it's too much. It's a lot of people. How do I handle all of these things that we're building solutions to, or service everyone who wants to call me, even if it's 10, 11 o'clock, midnight, to ask a question? I got to get that thing under wraps. So I had to put in, controls into these devices. With times I had to say no and honor myself. And so I'm learning, I'm still growing in this area of this evolution of this person that will have a perfectly divine, balanced life. That's something that I desire greatly. But what you said hit on where I'm studying at right now with healing and making sure that we understand that the messages that we keep in secret are could potentially be heard in the physical body. So
let me ask this question. Allow me to ask this question. At what time in your life did you become more aligned to the intuit, the person that you are now speaking to?
So that person happened in 2008 during the economic downturn. Now, I've been in church all my life. I've been taught to live my life right and to go out and achieve my goals and do what it is that I needed to do. But I would say that there was a spiritual connection of a different opening, right, that I didn't have before. I mean, it was like, do the right thing, then you get the right outcome, follow your dreams on a surface level. But when I read that book and Mr. Ingram and I started to spend a lot of time taking deep dives into that, not just that book, but many others, I believe that was a grand opening for me. It was something that pulled me up from my bootstraps. In 2008, with the economic downturn, what really happened was it was a downturn in my thought process, right? I could have triumphed through that. And I now understand that I have the ability within me to triumph through all things, right? Connecting spiritually with God and also knowing that this ability exists within me. But that was an eye opener. And I was like, never again. I'm not allowing myself to get to that point of ever thinking in mediocrity and thinking in poverty, allowing myself to believe that something is not possible or that it could happen to everyone but me. And I believe that, sometimes we talk ourselves out of the greatest victories that we're supposed to achieve in our life. It's meant for us to go out and build and to create and to recreate ourselves. But way often people say, well, that's too much work, so I'm going to just stay in this little box right here where I'm comfortable at. And I'm not going to allow myself to step out of it so that I can elevate, right? It requires work. It requires a different set of skills. Even right now, I'm being stretched in many ways in my life. But I've just said, you know what? I'm not going to fight against what it is that I'm feeling. Instead, I'm going to lean into it. I'm just going to lean into it in the best way and remember to keep doing this positive parading of thoughts in my mind, allowing myself to understand where I may have triggers so that I can champion myself over those things. Like, it's a really good time in my space in my life in this growth period. At first, if you asked me some time ago, I was like, this is too much. But now I'm like, you know what? Let me lean into this instead of fighting against it. And let me just elevate with it.
I've been speaking quite a lot to a lot of people. And I was at a symposium in January where I had the opportunity to speak with so many thought leaders. And I was asked to speak on motherhood and womanhood. And I said to myself, as I approached it, as I prepared, I thought about Mary and Jesus, the inception, right? And this divine situation she'd be in. And then later I spoke to Eve in the Garden of Eden and how we need to be forgiven so women can shed this sense of negativity that surrounds her when as a woman, because somehow the message of she needs to be forgiven is out there. So we have to learn how to forgive ourselves and understand that we are divinity. God has made us perfectly well. and that she was perfectly well made in the Garden of Eden. And then even in the outside of that world where they were covenanted within the womb of God, if you will. And now outside in the world, that her womb now holy, she's holy and whole. So when we relate to who we are from the very beginning in a way of forgiveness and mercy to ourselves, then we can start to shed all of these things that have held us back. And then the things that we become aware of and that we learn in life become things that help us to come from motherhood, because our children, and this is important what you said of your son, right? Because we are mercy. And so when our husbands or people are around say that you should punish your child, you know, or that you should apply it, you already are equipped with what you know your child needs, you know, and you're going to govern yourself according to that. With your partner, with your mate, you have more balance with it, because it causes you to have to tap more into that as well. The understanding and the compassion and the love of building family, that's what those things create. Yes. But I think that as we speak about healing and we talk about all of these different dynamics in which we know we have to heal in, we live in such a sick place, not because the world is sick, it's serving its purpose. We're sick in how we deal with things in this world. And so we've adapted all these unhealthy measures. And so our bodies, our minds, our souls are suffering. And we have to come to reckon with that. And as we do it, as you so aptly said, you know, that you're taking your time, you know, and stepping back. Like for me today, I had to step all the way back just to come back into this. Mm-hmm. How do you serve your purpose? By letting go, you know, and then allowing your purpose to take front and center. Forgive yourself, and then forgive all this other stuff, and keep moving forward, and then be thankful, because you know that God has made us to increase us individually to be what we are. Exactly. No one of us are the same.
It's true. You know, I couldn't imagine living my life and not going out to explore the things that I desire most, right? I couldn't imagine fearing it so much that I just don't do it, right? Because the thought of me missing the opportunity of trying to live this, you know, extraordinary life that I desire most and not putting my best foot forward, I mean, that's suffering in itself, right? I've had an opportunity to be around a lot of amazing people. And I've been in a space with so many, I'm just going to specifically speak about women as we, you know, in the women's celebrate. It was every month is a women's history celebration, but the specific month of it, and just talk about women in general for a quick second, is that there's so many burdens, right, that just seem to get carried, and these burdens are carried, but they're never taking the time to release them. So you got people now building up so much bitterness and frustration in the heart space. And so when you build up this things, it's a block of your blessings as well. And so we have to learn to work through finding the techniques and the spiritual ways to release and let go of these things, from forgiveness, but also, you know, even deeper rooted childhood experiences of this little girl, this little boy inside of each person that has kept them in bondage, right? And so when we learn to start really facing that child that someone may have said to them, look, you ain't never gonna be nothing, you can't never do nothing right, out of their anger and their frustration, out of their pain, they impart these kind of words, and then these words sow into the lives of that person. I'm very careful about what it is that I say to my child, even in my anger. I will never call him, you stupid, you this, you that. I'm never going to call him those names, because I never want him to believe it. It is always the opposite. Hey, the way that this behavior is, you're not that. And so I want you to know that, right? Because I want to be able to bring words that bring life into him. And way too often, even in our work field, you know, you get other people, they may see a person work very hard work very smart or dedicated. And then you'll even have people to work up against you because this person's so dedicated. Oh, they doing too much. They this, they that. It's like, no, really, you doing too less. And so maybe if you join me in doing more, we could accomplish greater together, right? And so we have to combat a lot of those different stereotypes, those words, those energies that come against us. And we got to be the light that other people have to see so that we can shift the energy in the spaces that we're in. And we really do have the power to do it. We have it within us to create that and to change. That's my little guy there. As for, I love that little kid. But yeah, so these are just different things. And women, we have to remember to do this. And I'll be honest with you, it has become, when the start of the year, it got really, really busy. And so it was one phone call after the next where I was speaking with people like, I want to do this, but I just can't. Or I get it. Every word was in one sentence. They were saying, I want this to happen for me. But in the next 5 sentences, it was words of doubt, of fear. I can't do it. I know I'm going to fail. You know, every other word that is the opposite of what they want to have happen. And when you have to work in that environment often, I was getting tired. I'm like, why is it that people don't see that with them and God, and there's an unlimited door that exists for them to walk in? And then I said, no, you know what it is? I have to replenish. I got to go back. I gotta take the time, get back in my sauna, do my workouts. I got to sit and just meditate on all the goodness. And I have to remember to go to bed just forgiving, because sometimes people will throw an offense at you. It's not intentional. They don't know that they're doing it. They're not even consciously aware that it's happening, right? Because of what it is that they're dealing with in their own space. And so don't hold a grudge. Don't continue to embrace that, right? Because those things are not going to help you to get to where you need to be. And the greatest thing about forgiveness, Ms. Ingram said this a long time ago, I'll never forget it. And it was like you're taking a syringe of cancer and just depositing it into your own body. You're injecting into your own self. When you don't forgive, when you don't let go, when you don't release, right? And so I want to be able to keep utilizing the spiritual tools that I've learned, but also being open for others, letting go of judgment, just things that I have held on to from things of my past, consistently working to release them so that I can be ultimately who God designed for me to be at my highest and best.
And just speaking to the past, your past can be your enemy or your friend.
Exactly.
It just depends on how you face what is happening to you in your life. And the past can be yesterday, and it can be 27 yesterdays in years.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. But when we do stand in what we're doing and we face each piece one step at a time, we're strengthened, we're emboldened, and we become more enabled to serve ourselves and then serve our families and our communities.
Yes,
and you seem to have been doing such a great job of doing that. You've got so many people online who are just like amen and testifying with you. And I think that that's powerful. And how does that affect you, though? How does that mandate your words, your steps, to know so many people now are listening to you, they, following and trying to find you for a course of guidance?
Well, I will say that to be a servant leader is an honor, right? I embrace it. And I know that it's a major piece of my calling. When I get phone calls, and it's often, of people saying, thank you for having taken time to show me this or to explain what route I need to go. And let me share with you the success that happened behind that, right? It isn't a rewarding feeling. And I know that I'm just doing God's work, but I've learned that, I embrace those compliments, but I can't live by them, right? I got to continue to work and live by what it is that I need to continue to go out and do. And that is, I'm doing the work of God, working in and through myself, through people, being able to be the light that people need to see, learning that being a positive beacon of light is something that is an expression of who I am and who I want to continue to be. But people also have to remember that even that person, I'll never forget a young lady who I knew very well. another very good friend of ours family was going through a tumultuous situation. One of her kids were very sick. And I mean, she's a motivational person. She's a counselor. She's everything to everybody. And at this time, the young lady said, oh, well, yeah, she might be sick, but, just go ahead and put your spiritual tools in place and what you teach and just do it. She didn't realize that she still is a human being. She still had an emotion that she had to deal with in her life to accept this diagnosis, to deal with what's ahead, to ensure that her daughter was healed, in which there was going to be steps to get to that point. So people have to remember, just like you saw Pastor Chris Harris on there, even though he's one of the greatest pastors in the world, he needed to take some time off, right? Just recently, like, let me take a couple months so that I can regroup while I'm helping the world, that I got to remember to help myself. So I don't ever want to feel guilty for taking that time to be able to do that. But it is an honor to be a servant leader. It's an honor to be able to support people in every way and to see the manifestation of the changes that's implemented in their life because they chose to be disciplined to go out and possess it, whatever it was, right? That's rewarding. But at the same time, I want to give all to them, but also remember that, like, I got to give to myself. I got to give to my amazing husband, my son, my daughter, my glammy children. I got 2 glammy girls. Wow. I want to be able to sow into my family and also into my friends who are my sisters, right? So it's a lot.
It is, but I think that being a woman is when you become a woman, when you are in the stages of into it, and all of it just feels like a wonderful part of living. It's not that it becomes a burden. It's just management style. What is your management style of yourself and the outer extremities of yourself, because it all comes back inside and it's all spirit, body, soul, right? Yeah. And wow, you are absolutely inspiring.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know that I was quite ready for this, Nicole.
Oh, you ready, girl.
I wasn't ready.
Born ready for this. Get out of here. That's
well, you know what? I know that I am certainly in the place in which you're speaking of. And I know that my attractors are who I am. The things that I attract are the things that I am, right?
Yes.
But I'm not always sure what that voice is. And so it's what's unique about this moment is to have Coffee Break with Senabella and to have those voices come into the room and now speak to those things. And they come from all ages. Women are a phenomenal course in life. We are the dressing on the table. We are the light in the room. And we are the power and the structure in so many things. And yet we can acknowledge those that are there as well. That's male and female. And our children are really the thing that kind of gives us a foundation. And for the women who didn't have children, the aunties, they are as powerful as we are.
Yes. And, I want to also acknowledge my daughter, Aubrielle Wheatley, and my 2 glammy girls, London and Kylan, because, I'm just, those are women, young women that I want to nurture and help to elevate at their highest and best as well. I'm grateful to God. I just want to tell you guys one thing before I get ready to go. I know time is running out, but we have our 13th annual Remarkable Real Estate and Small Business Expo. And that's coming up on Friday, June 27th. And then we have a tropical benefit concert featuring Eric Benet. Okay.
All right now.
Yes, on June 27th. And so we're going to have it out for people to be able to get their tickets starting next week. So we really want to see everyone in the place there. We're talking about great camaraderie, energy, positive overflow. All that stuff is happening. And then also my pastor said something to me I committed to memory over 25 years ago. He said that there's 2 natures beating in our breasts. One is foul, one is blessed. One we love and one we hate, but the one we feed will dominate. And we have to remember to dominate the positive overflowing energy that exists within us. And we have to keep bringing that to the surface every single day. And the last thing is that I read in this book, failure only exists in the grave. So you're still alive. You're still here. You're still breathing. You have breath in your lungs. Go out and live. Don't stop worrying about failing or how it's doomsday or how it won't work. Just take the steps. That's why I'm Steps in Consulting. Take the steps necessary to go out and make it happen. connect with it, build with it, grow with it, elevate with it. But whatever you do is don't give it up. Don't walk
Well,
away.
with that, I'm going to say thank you. We're running out of time. I don't want to run over, so we can play it again and replay. Look,
All right.
good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Nicole Wheatley, you are a phenomenal woman. Everything Maya Angelou has written. God bless us all. Have a good
Thank
day.
you. Thanks.
Everybody enjoy your day.
Getting up this
Wake
morning.
up feeling beautiful.
All righty. God bless you. Thank you.
Women have the power. We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, Ngiabonga. Senegal, Jaref. Kenya, Asante. Israel, Toda. Pakistan, Shukriya. Afghanistan, Tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.